Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about your project that's coming up. It's called the Artist Candies Project. What I want you to do is I want you to go online and I want you to look up candies in movie theater boxes or candies in boxes, like candy boxes. And you're going to see a big assortment like in the picture below. And what I'd like you to do from that point is start thinking about all the different artists that we've talked about this year. And I want you to come up with a candy that would represent that artist. So you're going to pick an artist and create a candy based on the art style of this artist. Come up with a clever name for the candies inspired by the artist. So, for example, underneath at the bottom here, I have Surratt's Dots because of the dot candy, Degas Junior Dancers to go along with Junior Mints, Mondrian Square Mix, kind of like Chex Mix. And then I was thinking Mondrian's Now and Laters, or Mondrian's Squares and Lines. Um, you could do an O'Keefe Sweet Flowers, like sweet tarts, but in the shapes of flowers. You could have an idea like Van Gogh's Starbursts. You could do like Wood's American Nerds. You do Dolly Taffy. And I'm sure the list of examples will grow as you guys come up with stuff. But these are just some to get you started. And if you don't like any of those, like I said, go back and look up pictures of candies because as you do it, it's going to come to you. So after you figured out what you want to do, you're going to create an image or an advertisement for the candies through a box design. So you're going to design your own box of artist candies. That's what's happening here. On the front of the box, you're going to have the candy name and what they look like. So just like all these other candy boxes that we're looking at up here. And on you can use other candy boxes as examples or places to get ideas. You can use if yours are going to be like Starbursts, so you're going to do Van Gogh Starburst. I would write Starburst the same way that the original candy is made, and then your background picture could have something to do with like Starry Night. And then after you're done making your beautiful front of your box, the back of your box is going to have 5 to 8 facts about your artist. Okay? So I'm going to start drawing here. All right. So we have to come up with some ideas. So I was thinking an idea like Mondrian's Now and Laters or Mondrian's Squares and Rectangles, just because it'd be easier for advertising wise or just for time. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment to go back in here and like check and see how the now and later is written and in the design of the box and stuff. I just wanted to see some different things that to make sure that I'm not going to totally go crazy and be far away from this. So if I'm going to do like a Mondrian now and later, so the style, I'm going to go with like this, and then I'm going to trim around the edges so I know that my candy box is a certain size. All right, so I'm going to do in the top corner of my candy box, there we go. All right, I'm going to do our artist name, and I'm not going to make it crazy big, but I also am going to do it in the style that I see the now and later letters. They're kind of like squarish, so that's kind of cool. And I thought that was a good idea because our artist is very geometric in his artwork. There we go. Okay, so we got Mondrian, and then I'm going to do just a little piece right in here. Trick to making really good S's when you're doing this stuff. Probably not that. Hold on here. There. You want to kind of do the top and the bottom at the same time and then leave the middle so that way you can get them together so they fit. So Mondrians, and then so now I'm going to do, instead of now and later, I'm going to do squares and stripes. So I'm going to make Mondrian smaller, and then my squares and stripes are going to be huge right in here. This is how we fix this up. So that way it's not totally... And it's okay to sketch out all your stuff because later on we're going to use markers and we're going to make these thicker. So I can just go back in here and erase this little line right there. All right, I'm going to make this go a little faster for everybody. Okay, so what I did now was I went back in and I grabbed my candy box and I made sure that it fit right in here because I was a little concerned about how big I was making my letters. So that would be something that I would suggest you do beforehand, is outline on your paper how big the front of your candy box is. And then I went back in and finished up my letters, and I wanted to make my and letters different than my square pieces because I want my square pieces to be sort of the same as far as like Mondrian's work goes. So now with my marker, because I'm not too worried about making mistakes at this point because I know what I'm going to do, but I suggest that everybody else uses a pencil. I'm going to start putting in some line designs like from Mondrian's work because he did a lot of very geometric shapes going on. Okay, so this will be my big red square. And I'm going to make this black line right here. I'm going to fill this in as I go too, just to make it a little bit easier. So we can see what's happening as I do it. I'm using a Sharpie, you don't have to. You can use, colored pencils if you want, or you can use just regular Crayola markers, which I'm going to end up using later. I want to fill this little area in too because this is all part of my line. Okay. This is my P. I was looking at that for a minute going, what is happening over here? But it's okay. So I'm going to put in a box in here. Sometimes we touch the paper when we don't want to, but that's okay. Remember, some of our stripes are a little bit thicker than others, and that's okay. Of course, he always has some little broken up ones down here. Okay, so we're starting to get our whole like square idea going on. I'm going to use another really big line right in here. Oh. Okay, so we've got some thicker lines going on. I'm going to make a line that comes right through in this one. I'm going to make a line that goes right through the bottom of these words right in here, or these letters. Couple more right in here. It's always good to be a little bit careful when you're in this area, especially if you're working around your letters. You still want to be able to read your word when you're done. I'm going to straighten this up a little bit. There. Now they all look like they're on the same space. And I am going to make another line right in here. I'm going to follow this line down so I just know it's there. That works. I don't want to have too many vertical lines that like make my candy disappear on stuff. Or at least the letters. I don't want to lose things. This is a big space right here. This kind of works. It's almost like composition. It's got so many of those composition ones. All right, so then after this point, when you're all happy about how everything looks, now you have to start thinking colors. Your stuff should match up with the colors from the artwork that you're trying to portray in your candy. So I'm going to use some Crayola markers. Just going to get out my basic Crayola markers. And let's see, I just need primary colors, red, yellow, blue. And that's what I'm going to stick with for this whole piece. I know that I want Mondrian to like stand out. And I know I want squares and stripes to stand out. And I know, ooh, something I just noticed actually. My E never got. There we go. And I'm going to, as naughty as this is, I'm going to just fill this in so that way I want to see my and. I want it to stand out completely. So I think I'm going to outline it just a little bit thicker. Just like with graffiti, if you put like a big thick line around stuff, it really helps stuff pop out. And I really want to do that with my and because I want it to be like and squares and. There we go. That'll really pop it out. And I already knew that I wanted this part to be yellow. The benefit of using Sharpie next to Crayola is that the Sharpie's not going to smudge, which I love. But if you didn't use Sharpie, make sure you're really careful when you go in and put some lighter colors in because Crayola markers do tend to smudge. Yeah, that's really going to pop that out. And let me see. I'm going to do Mondrian in yellow as well. I was thinking that I was going to do it in red, but then I just decided that I want to do squares in blue and stripes in red because my red square is going to be at the top and my blue square is going to be down in the corner like it is. So that makes things a little bit more easier. We'll make them opposite each other to help them stand out. We don't want the same colors in the same spots. It won't help balance anything. And especially when you're doing like advertising and stuff, you want things that are eye catching and you don't want stuff that's going to make the viewer go like wonder what's happening. You want them to just be able to pick up what you're trying to sell really fast and then like, you know, not wonder why the picture is so weird. Stuff to remember. So my square up here is going to be really bright red. I know I'm going to trim this off afterwards, so I'm not too worried about staying inside the line up here. But if you are one of those people that it would bother, this is the area where I would worry about staying inside my lines. And if you are one of those kids who really loves to draw on your tablets and design things on your tablets, you're more than welcome to use your tablet and your draw programs to do this project. As long as you print them off, you are good. Love it when you guys use different technologies and show me what you can do. Now, I did my candy box where it looks just like the artist's artwork. If you decide that you want to make the candy that looks like what it's going to be in there, to be honest, I just kind of remembered, but I'm going to put them right over here. So that way you can see like a little side view of what our candy looks like that's inside this box. Our now and later candy shape right in here. And I'm going to have one this way. Remember your angles when you're drawing something in 3 dimensions. You don't want floating corners. We'll have a little candy drain here. All right. I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to. All right. So now that my whole design is done, I even took the time to draw some little candies off to the side. So I have some little black ones for like my black lines. And I have a yellow one and some blue ones and some red ones to go along with the square idea. So Mondrian squares and stripes. All right, I hope you guys are super creative.